EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for January 29th, 2021. For your Friday, we're expecting mostly sunny skies today, but despite the best efforts of that sunshine today, we are going to be very cold. In fact, it's going to be the coldest day we've had this entire winter thus far, and it's going to feel every bit of it. Not only are we going to have very cold temperatures, we're also going to have windy conditions to contend with this morning that are a continuation of what already started overnight. And they're going to peak this morning and then finally start to subside gradually this afternoon. Here is a look at the temperatures today. High temperatures generally in the middle areas, our central areas here. We're looking at lower 20s here for highs today. We're going to be in the mid to upper 20s down here and up in this region, up in northeast PA, especially in the mountains. 15 to 20 degree high temperatures today, so it's going to be very cold. And again, to add insult to injury, you have wind gusts this morning. They're going to be generally 35 to 40. This is looking at 9 o'clock in the morning. 35 to 40 mile per hour gusts, some up to 45 up in the higher elevations. And that's going to go on through this morning. And then we finally, once we get into early to mid-afternoon, we start to back down a little bit here to the 15 to 25 range. So it's still going to be breezy after these winds, the stronger winds this morning subside, but we're going to be still 15 to 25 this afternoon, and then overnight we could drop back into the teens with these wind gusts. But it's still going to be very cold. Again, temperatures are going to be the single digits overnight tonight in the northern areas and in the lower teens further south. So it's going to be pretty cold today all around. Now let's get to the rest of the week here, because we have a lot to talk about with this upcoming storm potential early next week. And I'm still using the word potential here, but I think it's likely we're going to see a storm. This is not something I don't think it's going to be something that misses entirely. There's still an outside chance that does, but I think everything's leaning toward at least some accumulating snowfall. Some of them are showing a lot of snow and in different areas, but we're really not ready to get on board with that idea yet. There's some comparisons being made here to past storms like the President's Day storm of 2003. That's an analog for this storm. Similar evolution, similar kind of key features on the maps, and it was a storm that originated out by California, dumped a tremendous amount of rain and snow out there, and moved eastward across the country. This is the same kind of system, but it doesn't mean it's going to play out exactly that way, especially since no two storms are alike. That's just an analog we're using for this storm. Probably my favorite analog, actually, for this storm. As we go forward in time here to Saturday, again, winds are not going to be as big of an issue here on Saturday. Still just a slight breeze, northwest 7 to 12, but we are mostly sunny here on Saturday. And then we get into, let me get this over to a precipitation type map here. And we get into this storm here that's going to be moving through the Midwest. Now, we do know how this is going to evolve for the most part. We're going to have a primary low moving into the Ohio Valley. It's going to run into the block up to the north here and force redevelopment somewhere over the Carolinas, okay? Eastern North Carolina, most likely, all right? So here's where that low forms. So the primary goes in the Ohio Valley and weakens, transfers its energy to another low further south, and this one's going to take over as the primary. Now, the best timing for this stuff to come in here right now is still remains Sunday evening, okay? So the Sunday evening, the snow moves in. It might not be especially heavy. You might get a burst in the beginning. Might not be especially heavy overnight as we have that transfer taking place. Usually when you have a transfer between two systems like that, you get a dry slot that runs up in the middle here. So we're going to have to watch for that. That's one aspect of this. But then as this coastals takes over and this dies out, the secondary, we're going to have this coastal low wrapped up near the coast, and it's going to be bringing snow on the northwest side of that. Now, exactly where this sets up is still unclear. And there's several different extremes. I think the GFS here that I'm showing is representing the middle ground right now as far as the axis of where that heavy snow is, which wants to take it from central... messed that up already. It wants to take it from just south or right around New York City back to Harrisburg and up in these areas through central New Jersey. That's where it's trying to take the heaviest snow with this particular low tucked inside the benchmark. And you can see that here. There's just an onslaught of snow that goes all during the day here on Monday. Especially it gets a little heavier in the afternoon, evening, and then it starts to let up in the overnight, and then we have leftover snow showers still lingering here on Tuesday before this pulls away. Tuesday does not look like a really snowy day out of this whole thing. It really looks like it's going to be maybe in the morning. You might have some leftover light snow, and then it becomes snow showers in the afternoon before this pulls away. So those are the areas that the GFS are targeting. As we go over to the, what's this? This is the Canadian model here. So again, similar idea here. We have a primary low moving into the Ohio Valley, a secondary low that's going to form here over eastern North Carolina. Okay, and it has similar timing here with the snow coming in Sunday evening, and then is generally light into Monday morning. Might even be some mixing involved here, according to the Canadian model here in southeast PA, at least initially. But don't worry, that's going to change back over to snow. This low comes up the coast and gets really wrapped up here, and then dumps a heavy amount of snow. And it's really attacking these areas from Connecticut over into eastern Pennsylvania, actually east central Pennsylvania, and the Poconos. And it's really nailing those areas. So the corridor here of the heaviest snows on the Canadian model are further north. This is the furthest north solution of the three. Okay. Conversely, European model now is showing again similar evolution with the transfer. Transfer occurs further south and east though, and this never really gets going too much further than this. This is looking at the best areas getting hit being further south, out and down here by I-95. So this is the furthest south solution. Actually, I can show you, if I could show you the 18Z run, which is a more recent run, it's actually even further south than this. And there's a trend for on the European model to push it further south and east here. So that is a little concerning if you're living up here in maybe northeast PA or north central PA, and you're expecting a big big snow event. This is not a good trend here on the European model. Some of the other models are not doing that, like the Canadian model is your friend if you live up there. In the middle is the GFS of the three, and the reason the difference is between these models. I'll take the GFS and European model here. I want you to take notice of something. This is the upper level vorticity, and we have a very nice ridge out here in the western U.S. You have blocking over the top, and you have the primary low and upper level low sitting here. It's going to force redevelopment off the coast or near the coast of North Carolina. Now I want you to pay attention to this feature right here. This is actually an extension of an upper level low that is sitting in the North Atlantic. It's kind of like an arm of that upper level low. And see where that is right there? Just pay attention to this as I show you where that is on the GFS, and look at the same spot here when I flip this over to the Euro. See that? Now it's like this. Okay, so the European model is a lot further south with this. Okay, it extends that arm further southwest, and because it's doing that, it's going to hinder the development of this secondary low. The heights here are not as sharp, so it can only come so far north, and that's the reason why it's doing that. So I think the key to this whole feature here of where you want to get that access of heavy snow, or if you want to not go further south, is this feature right here. Okay, if this continues to trend south, like shown, this is the 18Z run. If this continues to show south and move further south than this, it's going to push this whole system south. It is possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility for that to happen. The trend is going to have to be watched with this right here, and if it's up here, it's okay. This is where it's been, and the GFS has it up here. The Canadian has it up around this region too. This, if you see the heights here, the heights on this, and this is the same timestamp comparing the two. You see the heights are a little sharper up here. They're not so flat. They're not like this. Okay, so those heights allow this coastal storm to come a little bit further north and affect areas more north than just the far southern areas like the European model has it. So this is the trends we're going to be watching over the next 24 to 36 hours. Again, we're not putting anything out right now. We just can't, and you can see why. There's some stark differences between these different models. I mean, they have it's kind of like the right church, wrong pew type idea here. So the models all have the right idea with the general concept of the evolution, but just a little bit of a difference, like that thing I just showed you with the vorticity, just a little thing being off like that changes the whole ball game. So we have to monitor that closely, and we're not ready to make a call on this yet. Do I think there's going to be snow? I do, but there is a chance that this thing moves a little bit further south, that it can move back northwest again. And I don't have the new European model run overnight. Maybe it does that. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so this is something we have to watch over the next 24 to 36 hours. We will not have a call. We might have a probability call on Friday afternoon, a probability-based map, and that's it. Maybe, depending on how the trends go between now and then. But Saturday is our scheduled first call. Okay, so there's no storm mode. There's no nothing yet until we know for certain that this is going to hit and it's imminent. And then we can narrow down for what areas by the time we get to Saturday. So until then, just continue to follow along. I'm trying to give you as much information as I can and not lose anybody. But this is what the difficulties we're dealing with. Okay, we just have the finest little most finely tuned aspects of certain features like this are going to make a huge difference in the evolution of this system. Okay, so just bear with us in the meantime. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchus. That is your outlook for January 29th, 2021. Have a great Friday.